Now, the last time we tested sedans, we did a shootout between them. The Hyundai Verna came out as a winner when it went head-to-head against the Honda City, the Skoda Rapid, and the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. Well, it turns out now the Verna has a new challenger in the segment. And well, the challenge comes from a very strong contender. What you have right now is the all-new Toyota Yaris, which, well, of course, is a quite impressive car. And the point is that we need to find out whether it is better than the Verna, or can the Verna really still hold on to its top spot and remain the king of this segment. We've got the Honda City and the Toyota Yaris with us, and it's time to find out which is the best sedan in this segment in the country right now.
So now, after 2 years, Toyota has finally brought in the Yaris, and it was first showcased at the Auto Expo 2018 and soon after was launched. Now remember, there's a different approach with the Yaris altogether, and there is no diesel engine here. It's available only in petrol variants with CVT right from the base variant. Now the design of the Toyota Yaris is inspired by its elder sibling, the Corolla Altis, and is built on the Toyota's Global B platform, but of course retuned to Indian conditions. Now remember, this is also the 4th sedan in the company's India lineup and sits between the Etios and the Corolla Altis sedan, and of course it's the shortest in the segment when compared to the Verna or even the Honda City. Having said that, the proportions of the Yaris still works and it's a perfect mid-size sedan, and here are more details on the design of the Toyota Yaris. Toyota Yaris gets a soft and subtle treatment to its front fascia. It is not the bold or masculine looking car in this segment, however it looks elegant with no sporty appeal. There is also no striking feature for one to take back with the design of the Toyota Yaris. The sides of the Yaris get some nice character lines that makes the car look a bit premium and more appealing. The headlamp cluster with projector headlamp is different from the Corolla sedan and is being offered as a standard feature right from the base variant. However, daytime running lights are available only on the top VX variant of both manual and CVT variants of the Yaris. The rear hosts fancy design tail lights that make the Toyota Yaris look pretty. The rear bumper is simple with a small plastic cladding below.
Now the 2017 Honda City gets a lot of subtle styling cues that make it look more premium and more at par with the segment. It gets LEDs all the way around. It gets a slightly slimmer chrome grille on the front which ties the front together really well. It gets 16-inch alloy rims, and it even gets sinewy lines on the bonnet and on the body to make the arrowhead design look a little more muscular.
Now, the next-gen Hyundai Verna was launched in 2017, and with it, it brought to the segment a lot of first-in-segment features, as a result of which the car did end up winning the shootout last year. Talking a bit more about the design, well, you can see the Verna is based on Hyundai's fluidic sculpture design philosophy. It's got this cascade grille up ahead, sharp headlamps, projector units with LED DRLs. The overall bumper design, the hood design gives the car a sharp, sleek look, and it looks upmarket too.
The 2017 Honda City, we have the 2017 Hyundai Verna and the 2018 Toyota Yaris. They're all petrol and they're all automatic. Let's see which one is the best.
Starting with the Yaris here, this is of course the top end VX trim of Toyota Yaris, mated with the CVT gearbox. It's powered by the 1.5 liter petrol engine, and well, what's the best part here is of course the stability. The car feels very planted even on high speeds, and the engine is responsive. The CVT gearbox, however, is one of the seamless shifts I've ever seen in this segment. Now, of course, it's the initial acceleration on this car is not the quickest in this segment, but well, the CVT is very responsive, and it adds to the overall fun element, and the power delivery is very linear. And also, Toyota claims about fuel efficiency of 18 kilometers per liter, I think, which is pretty good on this petrol engine option. So what do you think, Arpit? How's the passenger feel for a change? You're in the passenger seat.
Yes, it feels good. I mean, the interior layout, everything is nice. The dashboard design in the dual color pattern is good, and well, Indians tend to love the beige color option, so yes, it's good that it's there and it's not completely black. Again, there's this touchscreen now. I think this is one of the weak areas for the Yaris in this segment, because it does not come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And if you look at the overall the feel and touch of the screen, even the touch responsiveness, it's not really as good as what you get, say, in the Verna.
Yes, and the good thing about here is the steering, because it's a bit heavy, which gives me a bit more sporty appeal to the performance, especially when compared to the city.
Yes.
And I think also, give or take, I think the rear seat. Ripine, what do you think?
The rear seat is where everything is happening in the Yaris. One of the things I really like is that the AC is mounted on top instead of in the center armrest like it is in other sedans. And the other thing I really like is the amount of legroom and headroom I still have, despite our pit sitting in front and having a seat considerably back. That's one of the real big advantages.
Yes, I think this is going to be a good car for those who want to be chauffeur driven. So yes, it will make for a good buy for such people. Yes, I think the overall a good cabin and good interiors. The seats are comfortable. There's a lot of space. The features are good, and the driving experience is good. The CVT is one of the best in the segments, and the engine is again smooth, good fuel efficiency. Just that the infotainment, overall the infotainment screen, the system could have been better.
So that was all about the Yaris. Now, what do you say? Let's hop on to the Verna or the city? Which one?
The Verna first.
Okay, let's go to the leader.
Alright, so now we are in the new Hyundai Verna. This is the petrol automatic, and of the three cars that we're comparing today, this one has the largest engine. Slightly more at 1.6 liters compared to the 1.5 liter engine that you have in the other two cars. And this 6-speed automatic transmission is what makes a world of difference, as you no longer have to deal with the rubber band effect or the lag that you would generally associate with CVTs. Now, when you intend to take manual control of the gears, this one only gives you the option of doing it through the shift selector. However, the other two cars, the City and the Yaris, come with paddle shifters, and the transmission is pretty nice. It upshifts quickly. It isn't really always looking for a higher gear all the time in pursuit of fuel efficiency, so it's good to drive.
Another thing I really like about the Verna are the fact that it has ventilated seats.
Oh yes.
In India, it's a boon. It keeps your shirt dry till you reach wherever you need to be, and you don't have that little wet patch at the back, which is terrible.
Sure.
And I wish that was also on the rear seat.
Yes, I'm sure. But that isn't the case. But how's the overall?
Next time.
But how's the overall experience at the rear seat? Because
so here's the issue with the rear seat. I don't have enough leg room. I'm almost touching my knee is almost touching the pan seat here.
Yes,
and I also feel that the rear seat is a bit slopey and slanty when compared to the Yaris, at least. I haven't really sat into the City yet, but at least on the Yaris, when compared to the Yaris, it's a bit more slopey. So otherwise, well, I like the fact that there's this nice armrest cup holders, so it gives a good convenient feel. And the other thing I just noticed when we hit the rough patch behind our ears, I felt the bump more harder here.
Then on the Yaris,
yes. So the suspension, I think, is on the harder side here. It's a bit more stiff.
Yes, that is the case.
But well, overall, I think the buyer of the Verna is still going to be, focused on driving rather than here on the right.
Yes, I mean it's the most powerful engine among all these three cars, and unlike older Hyundais which were a bit of floaty at high speeds, this one's a lot more stable. So I think that's where the stiffness when the suspension comes into play. It's more stable, and
I think the most important thing that we're not talking about on the Verna is the infotainment system, which is really great to look at. Yes. I love the fact that the basic screen is navigation. It does show you where you are, and it shows you how you're moving, and it shows you the full map.
Yes, exactly, and it's a SD card generated map. Works well. You can easily feed in your point of interests, and even feeding in a destination isn't really cumbersome. So yes, it's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which of course the other two cars miss out on.
Yeah.
And it really makes it a lot more convenient for the driver to interact with the car. And now let's talk about one of the most important aspects within this segment, safety. And I think all three cars are pretty evenly matched, but the Yaris seems to have an edge here with an extra airbag.
Yeah.
So both of these cars, this and the City, come with 6 airbags. The Yaris gets you 7, so the driver gets an additional knee airbag. And it also comes with traction control. And yeah, I think
other than that, you get your standard set of ABS, EBD.
Yeah, all of that is already there in all three cars, and I think all of them have got crash rated body shells as well. And I mean, all three of these cars sell outside India, so they do meet safety norms higher than what we have in India. So I think they're pretty evenly close with, but the Yaris has an edge here.
Yeah, but Yaris loses out on no sunroof at all, whereas the City and the
Verna get an
electric
electrically operated sunroof.
Well, I don't understand the point of sunroof, but yes, Indians do demand sunroof these days.
Yeah. Alright, so I think we've already talked about these two cars, and it's time that we move over to the old warhorse.
So now we are in the 2017 Honda City, which has a 1.5 litre petrol engine that makes about 117 horsepower. It also is mated to a CVT gearbox, although it is probably the least responsive CVT out of the two. That said, the interiors are very premium on the Honda City. Everything feels nice to touch. It is very nice to drive, and the steering wheel also feels very nice and premium in your hand. What do you think, Ronak?
Now, as mentioned right by you, Dipan, the thing I like the most here inside this cabin is the finish of piano black here on the digital infotainment system and the automatic touch AC controls. So it all adds to the premium appeal, and the quality of plastics used is much better than on the Yaris. At least it's softer than what we see on the Yaris. So overall, for City it works, considering it just got a facelift and it's not a brand new car. And the big miss is, however, again the support of Apple CarPlay and Google Android Auto. It doesn't support, but the infotainment system is very, very interactive, and there's a lot more you can do with this infotainment system. So, Arpit, how's the rear speed?
There's no doubt about it, this car still is a very attractive buy for consumers. And if I talk about the rear seat itself, well, I think this is really nice place to be in. The seats are comfortable. I've got good amount of under thigh support, good amount of leg room. The headroom again is nice, and this is a place where the Verna loses out a bit, but the Yaris and City are pretty evenly matched in this department. But we still need to check what's the value for money equation, and for that we'll need to discuss the prices of these cars, because at the end of the day a buying decision can only be made once the price is clear. So we've spent the entire day today driving these three cars in order to find out which one really is the best sedan in the country right now within this segment. And before we give you the final verdict, we'll just let a quick look at which car wins in which area. If you talk about design, guys, I think it's clearly the Verna here that wins hands down. If you talk about safety, it has to be the new challenger Yaris that takes the cake. If you talk about interior comfort, space, I think it's a close tie between both of these cars. Infotainment, again, Verna wins it hands down. And powertrain, where you talk about power and driving experience, again, it's the Verna that comes out top of the list.
Now also remember, very soon Maruti Suzuki Ciaz will make its reappearance here with its facelift scheduled in August 2018. And you also have the Skoda Rapid and the Volkswagen Vento fighting really hard again in this segment.
Last but not least, we have the Honda City. And while it is the oldest among these three cars, it definitely has the most refined engine, and it still has a very, very strong base of Honda fans who will still prefer it just for the Honda City name.
So it's time to pick a winner for the day, and that has to be the Hyundai Verna. The car wins because it's better than the other two in multiple areas, all of which we've already told you. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and share it as well. From anything else from the world of wheels, please log on to www.expressdrives.com.
Rolling मतलब
बार-बार गिर रहा था तो इसलिए टायर लगा. Now if you look at the design of this car, we're talking a bit more about.
After 2 years of constant practice.
Yeah, what is this music? In the jungle, they're having a wild party.